We will start on page Kuf base, just below the middle of the page. We will start on the line that begins with the Rashutevis AYIN Soif Hasosu. We are now digging into the posuk, which was the basis of this maimer. Tzion b'mishpat tipod.
Tzion b'mishpat
tipode.
Tipade.
Tipode.
What is tipade?
But will be redeemed.
Will be redeemed.
Yeah. Tzion, the Rebbe explained, is a marker, or it's also an eidus, a testimony. And the Rebbe explains that the whole phenomenon of testimony is applicable only to something that is concealed beyond revelation. Like the Gemara says, David and Iglu is something that will eventually reveal itself. You don't need eidus. Testimony, witnesses. Witnesses are things that are concealed and stay concealed. And this is what Tzion is. Tzion is like a testimony to something that without this testimony you will not be aware of its existence. What is it in this Tzion that is so deeply concealed? This is the God presence in the neshama. Lamaila also there is that in the AYIN Soif. AYIN Soif, which does not participate in creation, which is above creation. Okay, so let's go inside here. You can always go back on them. We really want to. AYIN Soif Hasosu. The AYIN Soif Hasosu is touched and is revealed, which is recognized through the process that he already explained, and we're going to be getting back to it again. Going further. Ve'al zeh Omar. To reveal this AYIN Soif Hasosu, this is, regarding this, the Pasuk says, Tzion b'mishpat tipod. Tzion will be revealed and drawn up b'mishpat, through mishpat. The Tzion, where Tzion, zehu bechinas rusa delieba. This is the bechina of rusa delieba, the desire of the heart. Shalamayla mitam v'da'az, that's a completely above reason or knowledge or taste. This is an essential presence in the nefesh that does not participate in any of the nefesh functions, such as intelligence or emotion or anything else. The truth of nefesh itself. This truth of nefesh itself is a gift from AYIN Soif of God Himself, as we discussed last time. We pointed out many times in our talks that the creation of man differed from the creation of everything else in the world. And one thing that is blatant is there's no other creation that has been prior to being created, planned to be created. Only by men it says, let us make men. And he describes ahead what his plan is. What is this creature to be? But Shamanikid Musain. And the reason he is making that plan, if you think about it, because Shamanikid Musain, in our form and in our likeness, where does it fit into the world? This is an anomaly. Shamanikid Musain is prior to creation. And all of a sudden I want to create something that into the world, but Shamanikid Musain. And this is why this is the preamble, the introduction. You will see this human being, he will not understand what he is doing in this world, but this is what I want. And this Indian follows, so to speak, the human being after his creation. After he is created, he represents the intent with which he was created. Clearly, since he is created into the world, that aspect is super worldly. The world does not understand what it is, and therefore that aspect remains concealed. But its intent is not that it should stay concealed. Its intent is that it should have an effect in the world and should come to be revealed. How does that occur? There has to be, so to speak, a worldly approach to reach up to the point where you recognize from the worldly perspective, oh, there is such a thing. And this is what the Pasuk Tzion b'mishpat tipot, the Tzion, this aspect in the Nefesh is called Tzion, as we discussed already, a great length, and the principle of the word Tzion and so forth. In essence, the word Tzion means a sign. A sign, a marker. If you describe an address, you say the address is on this such and such street, it's in this city, in this street, and so forth, and you give the number of the house. This is all involving, so to speak, the worldly contours, how you get to this address. But if you have a flag sticking someplace, that flag is not known or accessible from any other place except in the place where it stands. This is called Tzion. Tzion because Tzion means that it identifies when you get to it. And what is the means to get to this Tzion? B'mishpat. So now the Rebbe explains, and we already discussed it, going inside now. The Tzion zeh b'chinas Yerusa delieba. Tzion, this is the bechina of Yerusa delieba. We already discussed the principle of Yerusa delieba. It's a phenomenal Indian. Yerusa delieba means desire of the heart. Again, I've done it a couple of times, and even this morning it was necessary to remember. Yerusa delieba does not mean the arousal of the heart, but the desire of the heart, the will of the heart. Arousal means that there is some kind of an external arousal. But this does not need arousal, and it cannot be arousal. You cannot reach it. It is an innate desire in the heart. Even when you're not aware of it, it is there. Because this desire of the heart, as we already pointed out, this is prior to creation. This is the godly presence. In Nasa Odom, let us the initial plan, which is in the godly thought itself. This is what is seen in the Nefesh. The Nefesh is constantly telling you, and itself, I don't belong here. I belong in my Creator. But the intent is that this Tzion should come to be revealed in the world. This Pasuk says, "B'mishpat tipoda." How does it get redeemed? Redeemed means to be brought out from its concealment. B'mishpat. Okay, I want to revisit the words of the use of delieba, because we already discussed it just plain, because this brings out the Indian very, very pointedly. Normally we say that we get our desires from the mind. The mind understands what is worthy to be desired, and then it arouses the midas. That's a normal process. Seichel and midas. Rusa delieba bypasses that entire process. There is no arousal to this Rusa delieba. This is the life element in the Neshama itself. The heart does not ask any questions. This is what I want, period. Why? Because that's the truth that's invested in me. And this is literally above Tamadas. Let us discuss it for a moment, because here the word L'malam Tamadas have much more poignant meaning than normally. L'malam Tamadas, you can't get to it through Tamadas. L'malam Tamadas means even when you're looking at it, you don't understand what you're looking at. That means L'malam Tamadas in this case. Hine, and the Pasuk says, Hine, behold.
I'm a little confused here. We spoke in the beginning of the intent that Zion should be revealed, and now we're saying that intent happens through the Reusa delieba. Is that, or is it two different things? Is the intent and Reusa?
No, it's contained in Reusa delieba, but how do you reach it? It is in Reusa delieba, it is there, but that stays concealed in the heart.
Okay.
How do you reveal that? How do you get to know about it? As I said, to the L'malam Tamadas, and the L'malam Tamadas in this case means that even when you look at it, you don't know what you're looking at.
Oh, so this is where Mishpat comes into.
So Mishpat is the means by which you redeem it, you reveal it. Hine bigdei lo velozeh. Behold, bigdei lo velozeh. In order to get to this, who al dei hamishpat. It is through the mishpat process, to the mishpat principle. The mishpat where mishpat is that shebo b'seder v'hadroga, that which comes in an orderly and a graduated manner, from step to step. That's hadroga. V'hainu. And where is that applied? Where does that occur? B'hoi pnimi. This occurs in Oy Pnimi. Oy Pnimi always conjures up all kinds of different implications. In the literal sense, Oy Pnimi means the following thing. Oy Pnimi, an oir that invests itself internally into the keli. Most simple illustration of opening. We have the nefesh, we have rotzen and noin, all kinds of different things. Ultimately, we have the phenomena that the nefesh is mechaya, gives chayas to the guf, where the guf becomes alive. it correlates to the guf in a pnimi manner. That's meant pnimi. Internalized, becomes internalized in the guf. How is it possible that nefesh should be internalized in a guf? This is the phenomenon of mishpat. Which means that the nefesh presents itself to the guf, not the koiches hamakifim, not with the rotzen and noineg, not with the highest, with all kinds of different messages come from the nefesh. But to be surprised, it presents itself to the guf with an essential presence. That which in the nefesh itself does not lend itself to be defined and understood. The Ma'amet Avadas. This is what ultimately invests bepnimis into the guf and brings and the guf comes to life.
Wait, that's the element of mishpat or not yet?
Yeah, that's the that's that's the element that's revealed to the mishpat.
Through the mishpat is
Through
revealed
mishpat.
this essence.
Right. And this is oir pnimi. Oir pnimi again, oir pnimi means oir that becomes internalized in the keli. Not just contained in the keli, but internalized.
This is something even less tangible than the Tukokos Makifim? So this is like a essence?
Let's understand what we are saying, not what we're not saying.
Okay, I thought that's what you just said.
What?
I thought that's what you were... Okay, I'm just trying to pick up on what you said.
Yeah, I'm also
that's
trying. And what is this special phenomenon of mishpat? It is, excuse me, sheba b'seder v'hadrag. Because mishpat is that which comes b'seder v'hadrag in an organized and orderly and in a graduated manner. In other words, if you reveal to the guf the truth of the nefesh, it will completely bypassing the guf. You're not in any which way touch it. The way it comes b'pnimis is in a stage by stage manner. Sheba b'seder, we'll have to talk a lot, but let me just get into it. Sheba b'seder hishtalshelus. This oy pnimi comes b'seder hishtalshelus, in the order of hishtalshelus. What does hishtalshelus mean? Chaining down, where a higher level causes and brings out and reveals a lower level. B'seder v'hadroga, in this order, and hadroga means in a gradual manner. The Mailo Umata. There in Oir Pnimi there is a cognizance, clear identification of what is higher and what is lower. There is not an overall or an overwhelming reality. There's a moment by moment, point by point statement. And And then, through the process, through the effect of the epnimi, Davko means exclusively. That's the only way that you get boyim, then you come l'ha'oyer shelamayla mihishtalshelus. You come to the oyer that is above hishtalshelus. We mentioned the following things several times in this discussion. That why is this reusa delieba, desire of the heart? Why not the mind? We said the nature of the mind is that the minute he observes something, he begins to make sense of it. This is how the mind digs into something. Okay, oh, what's behind it? What is it about? The heart has a different simplicity to it. It does not question. It's there. It's living. And therefore, it's living. I'm living with it. The heart does not need to know how life is imbued into it. The mind does. Now there is the classic illustration says you teach a child olives. And then he said, this is an olive. So I said, how do you know it's an olive? This is a typical question from in the mind. How do you know it's an olive? Prove it to me. And if you tell him, the whole world knows, he says, how does the world know? The whole world know. The mind is not going to be satisfied until he goes down back to Odom Orishim and says, oh, that's where it's created. The heart does not go into that direction at all. It touches me. It reaches me. That's what it takes. That's the heart. Since in the heart there is this vested union of the tzion, of the godly presence, therefore when you show him godliness, he relates to it. And how does this godliness present it to the heart so that it reveals? This is called benishput.
You said Chachma is not the same idea last week.
How do we start? How do we start?
1 second.
What? No questions now.
I just wanted to say 1 second. That's all.
Oh, yeah?
Like just 1 second. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, say again.
I just wanted to say 1 second. We'll talk about that later. Let's continue.
It's 2 seconds. He said it's only 2 seconds.
Yeah. All right. Ron, don't interrupt.
Mishpat here stands for graduation.
Right. Mishpat means judgment. How do you judge?
Literally
things?
means judgment, but here it's a stand-in for graduality.
Yeah. How is judgment applied?
Okay, the definitions.
By investigating every step of the way.
Okay.
Yeah, we've.
Seder v'hishtalshelus is b'seder v'hadraga.
There you go.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, I just want, and in this formulation that you're laying out now, Zion is meaning Lamayla, the state of Yishtarshalis.
Yes. Yes. Like I mentioned just before about you teach a child and show him this is an aleph. You teach him at this point that he should know that there is a certain level of truth that you are going to teach him. You'll show him this is an aleph, and he will not be able to understand at all why this is an aleph. What makes it into an aleph? And why you're teaching it to him. The whole teaching at that point is based on the fact this is my Rebbe, my teacher teaching me, and therefore this is what I'm supposed to know. Not because by what I'm looking at, that's what I'm supposed to know. I'm supposed to know what my Rebbe is teaching me. Like you always mentioned, Omer Rav, Omer Rav Nachman. So there is not an inherent sense, inclination of what is being taught. This ultimately becomes, this is the beginning of Oipnimi. As I said before, Oipnimi means the Oy that is internalized. As long as you are judging what you're taking, it's not internalized.
I always thought the opposite. That the Rebbe begins with what the student can relate to. The Aleph is like the water carrier that you see, 2 buckets. He starts where he is. Here no.
No, but it's good. That's a valid objection.
Okay.
The Rebbe explains that this was a good malamed.
A good Malamed, yeah.
Okay.
Here the opposite.
Wait a second. The Rebbe did not explain to him that an aleph has the shape of a water carrier. The reason it has the shape is because of water carrier. The water carrier is an allusion to the aleph. But the aleph is an aleph.
Oh, he says, this is the Aleph. When you see the water carrier, think of what I'm telling you.
Yeah, it should remind you of that's what the Rebbe said. This was the Muhammad Bar Poyel. That whenever you walk the city, there were things that will remind you of what you learned in Cheder. But the real thing is what you learned in Cheder.
Okay. But right, and the get-go is a kind of already beyond your understanding.
That's why, not beyond your understanding. It's beyond your understanding, and you're not even curious about it.
And that rests on the relationship. It's only or pnimi because you're inside a trusted relationship. Would that be?
Yes, that's definitely a prerequisite.
Yes, and there's nothing else there that makes it or pnimi. Nothing. It's outside his getter.
Oipnimi means that you absorb it, you take it in. You take, and this taking it means not that you're taking it, like you said, because it makes sense to you. You're not taking it internally by your preconceived ideas.
Right, so your relating to it is not based on anything of your own internal world, but only upon your relationship with your Rebbe.
Yes.
Okay.
But no, that's a qualified yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because ultimately, this knowledge becomes your knowledge. In other words, it becomes internalized to the point where he says, I know this.
Yes, but in this moment, in this event, there is not I know this. That's only later it becomes your terrain. But at this moment, it's I know it because my Rebbe knows it.
Yeah, no. I accept it because
Yeah.
my Rebbe gives it to me, but I accept it full-heartedly.
On the basis just of the relationship is
And the
based.
basis, not on the relationship. I was told by my Rebbe such and such, and that I'm completely open to that. I accept it fully.
Yeah.
The point is that I accept it. This is sort of internal. I accept it personally. It becomes my personal knowledge.
Okay, and that sounds like the activity of the heart more than the mind.
That's what you're saying. Rusa
Yeah.
delieba.
Right, so the learning, the start of Seichel is Rusa delieba, basically. It's not Sifli.
That's right. Okay, well, this is a separate world unto itself. But it's important. The whole thing is to bring out to understand what we're saying over here, the Pnimi. Pnimi, what we say in the Rishalshos, because you cannot teach, so to speak, the full implication of what an Aleph is, and it should be internalized. Internalized is when it comes, you start from the lowest level that he is, when he is present, and that's when you feed him. You know how a baby eats? Baby in the womb? Everybody know it? Everybody knows it.
In the womb?
Yeah.
It's from the mother.
Umbilical cord.
For the umbilical cord.
Umbilical cord. That's when the baby first learns how to process food. Doesn't question it. It goes right into the belly. This is it's similar to Rusa delieba. Doesn't process it. How does it taste? Do I like it? Beyond liking it.
Can I ask something? I don't know if it's a valid question, but it bothers me because we always learn Nasa Vinishment. At first we have to accept it more of a minute, and then we learn it. And here we're learning, we have to start from lower levels, from our own, and then we come up to the higher, to above the stars.
That is in the normal process of the intellectual process. But this is beyond the intellect. What is the difference? This is called Sion. I can explain all over these days and weeks that Sion is relating and seeing something beyond the field of vision. Sion means it's not something like being shown to you. You see something, excuse me, in the domain of the creator, not in the domain of the created. This is Tziyah. This is a completely different process. But we're talking about Emunah and Tzeichel, so this is already in the domain of the created. How you develop Tzeichel, Chochmah. Chochmah begins from Emunah. This is a completely different process, but this Tziyah is a unique element. The first principle, the very first principle of human thought what begins the thought process? What tells him there is something to think about? What tells him that I'm alive?
Oh.
Thank you, thanks. Good day, Edmund.
Big problem. Big problem.
Okay.
Come close the door.
Okay.
Lot of thieves here.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
let's
Thanks,
see,
David.
sir.
Okay.
Come close the door. Lot of thieves here.
Take it. Okay.
You see the car parked
All right.
in the car? You have to find the car, right?
Say, listen, you can do faster than that.
The government is there, mommy. Seems to move. Close. No, come close. The guy go.
All right. I always think about Avraham Avinu. When Avraham Avinu was walking around and say, "Ein bira b'lei manhig."
In what?
Bira b'lei manhig. It cannot be an edifice without a leader.
A leader.
Yeah, a leader. The world is an edifice. It cannot be an edifice without without the manhig. Why don't you study the edifice first? What's going on over here? Get to know all the oceans and the waterways and the sun and the moon. Then you worry about the money. But this is typical. This is the nekuda of the Jewish neshama. He says, no, I need the manik first. Otherwise, I'm not interested in the edifice. Because the manik, this is the tzion, this is what gives it reality. Can be a very complicated and complex and very meaningful and well-served edifice. I don't want it. This is not what I'm looking for. Yes, sir. Yes.
I'm not to ask this question for a long time, but the opportunity seems to be there. So, this seeing, we're using the word seeing here to indicate this reality, this mindless consciousness. Originally, we started using it, seeing that indicator, sign, right?
Yes.
What's the connection between these two usages? Are they the same? I'm missing the link between what was
It is.
said
There's not
now and
only
how
there's,
the original.
there's not only a connection, but they're one and the same. Because this,
Indicator is the same as ultimate reality,
that's exactly right. Because, as I said, if you give somebody an address, the address is how you get to it from outside of it. How do you get to this address? But when you give somebody a sign, a point, a pointer, then you don't know it until you get there. You know it because its reality itself is there. Thus it's seeing. Seeing does not give you an access method. He tells you, this is the nekuda that's completely concealed. You will not be aware of it at all because it's internal completely. It's hidden. But you can reveal that hidden part. Yeah, seeing is, like we said, seeing is like an edus, a witness, a testimony you need for something that is concealed, that is hidden, and is not due to be revealed.
Right. So how is that? That's the testimony to it. That's not the thing itself.
This is the thing itself. For this you need testimony. But what are you testifying? You're testifying that there is such an nekuda, such a point.
And seeing means the point, not the testimony.
Seeing means both the point and the testimony for the point. In other words, this is something which does not exist outside of itself. So therefore, the testimony is one and the same thing as itself.
Okay, thank you.
We spent enough time. I want to explain this. The principle of a testimony in halacha in Torah, edus. We know the famous story with Shimon and Shetach. Edus is not a derivative of some kind of a of a process. You may have proof 100% beyond the shadow of a doubt, but you don't have it. When you have it, when you see it itself. A witness who can prove something beyond the shadow of a doubt is not a witness. A witness has to bring the reality itself to court, not the truth of it, about it. This is called seeing. This is the marker.
But when a witness reveals something to the court they didn't know, it's going to influence their judgment.
Yes.
So,
yes, but they're not going to judge them because they understand it. The power of a witness in halacha, 2 witnesses say one thing and 100 witnesses say the opposite. They are of equal validity.
But we need to go back to the Seder Hadrog. We started off.
Yeah.
We started off with Seder
Beseder
Hadrog.
Hadroga. Go Beseder Hadroga. Okay, Beseder Hadroga means.
The Pnimi part was explained, but how? Where could you connect that child's accepting that it's Aleph to a deeper understanding in the Aleph of Seder Hadrog?
When you teach the child the Aleph, and the child says, this is an Aleph, and you have not any kind of peripheral, broader explanation and proof, and so forth. And when he accepts it, what is this telling you? This opens up in the child an awareness. You're touching in him that there is a reality that you don't have to touch and have to understand. That you don't have to. It's beyond that. I have it. I have it. The child knows that yes, I have some truth that I don't that doesn't need to be explained.
So that feeling, Pashut,
Mhm.
that feeling is developed, say, the Vadroga on a deeper and deeper basis.
That's right.
It's called feeling.
Feeling, that sense. That sense. At first, you start from lower and lower, and then as you develop this further and further, you come to the point that you begin to understand, and then you know that all your understanding is also based on this tzion, on this principal truth. Take, in halacha, in the Gemara, for instance, there is a rule: a mameira cannot dispute with the Tana.
A what?
An amoira, there's a different category, different levels. Amoira cannot dispute with the Tana. Why not? It's a different category. You can understand what the Tana understands, that's fine. But you have to have a basis, you have to have a support of another Tana. You can develop your understanding very broadly, but you have to have that nekuda. And if you lose it, you're missing that nekuda. You don't have. No matter how valid your arguments are, they fade away.
Are we saying here that there's 2 sources of tzion?
What?
When you say Tana and Amora, is it 2 different sources of tzion?
No. The Tana is the basis for the Amoira.
Okay.
The Amoira learns the Mishnah, so forth. And one second more. Tipoda means it gets revealed. Because this means, as we are discussing now, that ultimately you can become the greatest scholar. And you can unfold all the hidden parts of Torah. And it's all based on that seeing. The minute you say, I don't need the support of a Tana, you lose the whole thing.